It's Friday afternoon, just got done with work. As you can see, the T is outside. Front end split forward on the 55. So we're actually gonna work on the 55 on this video. This weekend, hopefully. So here's what happened. I've ordered a bunch of stuff through Speedway. Some steering stuff, some braking stuff, a little bit of wiring. What else did I get? Some different lights, turn signals, set of headlights, lots of little things, gauges. I was gonna get kind of working on grill surround. I got a radiator on the way. Anyways, I made the order with the guy 10 days ago. I ain't got nothing, so I made a phone call. Turns out the guy got laid off, and of course my order didn't get put through before he got laid off. So such is life, I guess. Pain in the ass. But I'm at a standstill on that for probably another week or whatever it may be at least. So I gotta do something. So I think I'm gonna change the motor on the 55. So when I first got the 55, this motor here, I was gonna make a deal with the guy on. He had to assemble it. Well, he took kind of way longer than I thought he should have. And summer happened. I needed a motor, so I bought this motor and transmission, which is a bone stock 454 turbo 400. Everything stock's just out of a 80s 1-ton truck. I put the intake on, the headers. I think that's it, and tall valve covers. I don't put these tall valve covers on because the other motor's got fancy rockers. I wanted to make sure it would fit. I put a mini distributor just so everything would fit. Everything works, but it's boring. It's no camshaft in it whatsoever. So I always wanted to find a transmission. I was at the auto parts store the other day, the old speed shop. They had this turbo 400 that's brand new, completely rebuilt. It's got shift kit in it, all new clutches, the whole deal, and a 3000 stall converter. So I thought, you know what? Let's make this happen. But I do have to take a lot of parts off that motor and put them on this motor. So all the brackets, said water pump. I did get a new ring gear and balancer for it, I believe. But odds and ends, valve covers, all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna pull this motor and trans out, take what I need off that motor, put it on this thing, paint it. That'll be today. See what I need, because as you guys know, I'm gonna need all sorts of little things. Even though it's got a running 454 with a turbo 400 and I'm just putting the exact same thing back in, somehow I'll need a part that I don't have. That's just how my life's gonna go. So that's the plan. And I'm about to show you guys a few other things because I'm a parts buying junkie. This motor came up on the internet, which I don't need, but it was, I think, a good deal. So it's a 400 small block. It's bored out, 10-to-1 compression, Magnum 280 cam, obviously tunnel ram, dual quads, aluminum water pump, cool valve covers. I kind of dig it. And it came with this turbo 350 with a long tail shaft. I don't know. I kind of knew the guy, so I trust him. This thing's apparently got a shift kit in it. This motor is out of the, that's what originally was in the 57, so I'm probably gonna have to try and sell that. So I just got stuff everywhere. If you really have too much cool speed parts. So that's the plan for this video. I don't know if I'll do it in 1 or 2 parts. We'll see how fast I jam on it. But first thing I gotta do, clip off and just start ripping that thing apart. It should actually come apart pretty quick once the front clip is off. We'll go from there. So that's what we're gonna watch. Hopefully you guys are into it. Well, flip front end is off. My old man stopped by on his way home from getting some supper. So now I moved this thing ahead a little. I was gonna take it for a drive without the front end on, because I thought it'd be cool, but I'll wait till the other motor maybe. So drain the coolant out, take the radiator and all that off in one shot, and then I don't remember if I'd take the intake off or anything, just to get it all out. I might just do it anyways. Headers off, that should be pretty easy. Start making a list. I'm gonna need new gaskets and stuff like that. I do have some. I think this is all small block stuff. I don't know, big block. So I got some stuff there. Get all that dealt with. I need a connector because all the wiring that went to the front end was just wired. And I want to put like a trailer connector or something on there. But yeah, so I'll do that. Underneath, I put this fancy cross member thing on, so I'll have to jack it up and take that apart. But then the transmission should just fall right out of it. And with no radiator, no grill, no nothing, I'm hoping it'll be real easy, straight shot into the garage. I'll pull this out and we'll see how she looks. And it's gonna sit out here overnight with no motor in it. Hopefully the neighbors don't complain. All right, a little update. So rad, all that stuff's out. Got the exhaust off, that's all done. Battery's disconnected, it's up on stands. I just kind of hosed down, I degreased the driveway there. Didn't want any coolant on there in case the dogs are out and I got to roll around under it. So now I'm gonna have a quick break for supper and let this dry. Then it should be pretty simple. I'm hoping I can keep most of this motor together. Unhook the fuel, unhook the electrical to the starter, and transmission underneath should kind of come out is the plan. So supper time and I'll be back. Okay, so everything's kind of disassembled. I got all the wiring, all the miscellaneous connections and stuff. I think I'm good. Motor mounts are out. It's just kind of, it's actually sitting on the cross member. I got a floor jack under the transmission, so I'm hoping I'll just be able to kind of lift this thing up, tilt it back, and pull it away. Worst case, I can lift the car up and drop it down if I have to, but I'd rather not do that. The biggest hurdle is going to be the crack in the garage floor. So one of these wheels is for sure getting stuck in it, but hopefully the motor will be at least enough out that I can get a run at it. So that's the plan. So I'll set you up the tripod, we'll see how she goes. Motor's out. God, is this thing big and heavy. I for sure bloodbath the driveway, so sorry, Greta.
How dare you?
But actually I should have drained the oil of this thing already, but I'm gonna lift it up, drain the oil out. So I gotta take the oil pan off this, which is actually a bit of a pain. Because I only have the one engine stand. Maybe I have another one. But yeah, so oil pan off, put it on that thing, degrease the whole thing. I got some junk valve covers up in the wall, tape those on, fog that thing orange, put a little bit of crap in the exhaust ports, and then that can sit. And then tomorrow, well, I can start taking this apart. I mean, the front dress, the water pump, all that, I gotta kind of paint that, I guess, at some point. Take the intake off, disassemble this whole motor. So maybe I'll do that first, just rip the top end of this motor apart, make it a little lighter and easier to move around. So yeah, that's where we're going. Just a absolute yard sale of Chevy motors in here. So I got this thing all pulled apart, oil pan's off. I think I have a truck oil pan somewhere I want to slap back on. I had to pull the oil pump out because I put a brand new high volume one in there. So I wanted to put that in the new motor. So I pulled this out. You know, it's pretty much ready to go. So it's got a fancy roller rockers and all ARP mounting and whatever hardware and stuff. So it's a good unit. I actually thought I had a timing chain cover, but I don't. And as it turns out, there's also not one on this motor. So I think I might just go pick one up tomorrow. They're cheap, and I don't want to take that one all apart because I don't want to sell that, or I mean, whatever, put it on the stand and keep it, I guess. But I don't want to just have an absolute parts bin. So yeah. And I think I might just take this oil pan to work tomorrow and clean it up real good, and then maybe just paint it. So here you can see I had to chop it so it would clear the steering, because Tri-5s have rear steer behind the cross member. So that gave me the room. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do is just mask off a few spots, put some valve covers on it, just some steel ones, and just fog it orange tonight. Do this thing orange, and then tomorrow, maybe I'll do it tonight. Yeah, we'll see. I'll clean this pan up, paint it separate, just off on a fender stand, paint it and be done with it, and then put it all kind of together and bolt it up to the transmission. Up here I got a brand new ring gear and harmonic balancer, and smash those on. Then I think I want to put it in motor transmission, no front dress, no intake, just so it's a little easier to kind of get in the car. And then I'll scooch on the intake, and then I can do the whole front dress. It's super easy on this thing with no hood or grill or anything. It's basically like working on an engine stand anyways. So that's the plan. It's a little after 11 o'clock I think right now, so a little bit more, a little bit of paint, and call it for the night. So I might bring it back one more time. I think that's it for a night. There we go. Motor orange. So got that. I ended up screwing around a pile with this oil pan, so I got it all painted up. Yeah, but people always ask how I get so much done in such a short amount of time. Well, I got off work today at 4:30, immediately started working on this thing, took one break for dinner, and now it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So I don't work faster than anybody. I guess I'm just stupid and I work longer than anybody. And I gotta be up in a few hours to go back to work. So we're gonna go get some ice cream and have a nice little nap and do it all over again. So got my list for tomorrow, pick a few things up after work, timing cover, a few odds and ends. I'm gonna get some miscellaneous nuts and bolts, but I should be able to roll this thing over, put the oil pump in, pan on, that whole deal, separate this motor and transmission so I can kind of store it a little bit nicer, take the front dress off. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, so I should be able to paint all that stuff black, other than the water pump. Let that dry for a day, slam that all together, and go from there. Oh, fluids. I need fluids tomorrow. Oil and transmission oil. They're pretty important in a motor swap. See you guys tomorrow, or later today, I guess, at this point. Okay, well, it's the next day. I just got home from work. I actually did a little bit of work to this thing before I went to work, and I did a little bit now before I started filming. But before I went to work this morning, I got up early. I just kind of painted everything, the accessories and all that. I hung the headers and painted those. That's that VHT, so it's got a bake on. And I got home and degreased the frame. I actually gotta say, I used that KBS, and it's junk. It just chipped right off, and I had it ground right down to bare metal, so whatever. I got the motor and trans separated. I had to take some parts off that, the speedometer gear and dipsticks and stuff, so I got that on. I got the converter in, so that's pretty simple. I'm sure you guys have seen that a zillion times. 3 clicks in, I fill it up with, you know, a couple liters ATF. The motor, I think I left it last night. It had been painted, so I just slapped in the oil pump and the oil pan and timing cover. I can't find, I got a little It's not a puller, it works opposite. It pushes the balancer on. I can't find it, so I gotta see if I can get one of those. Otherwise, I don't know, it might go in the car without that on. But that's kind of how the motor's gonna stay, because once it goes in, then I'll plunk on the intake, the exhaust, and all those things. The problem I'm gonna have right now is it's supposed to rain, and I definitely have a few more hours of work, at least, if not more. So I think, unfortunately, today might be a bit of a wash. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna put the motor and transmission together. So it'd be ready to go for, I guess, tomorrow or something. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, actually, too, but not as bad. So worst case, if I clean it up, I'm gonna work on it tomorrow and jam on it. Then I can drag the car in just kind of halfway and put it all together. But by the time I clean up and all that, it's actually Saturday. So we're live streaming tonight. So I'm gonna run out of time, unfortunately. But like I said, I'll start putting the stuff together, do a little bit of cleanup, bring you guys back, and tomorrow, I guess, maybe it'll crack to life. We'll see what happens. So change of plans. I got the old motor on the stand, new motor's off, bolted the transmission. I checked the weather. The rain's supposed to hold off for a few more hours, so I'm hoping I can at least cram this thing in there, have it sitting on the mount, so maybe the trans mount, and I put the valve covers on, maybe just like set the intake on, and then just slap the front end on, and then that'll be good for tonight, because then tomorrow pull the front end off again, and I can drag it inside or do whatever I have to do if it's supposed to rain still. There's gonna be lots of little stuff to screw around with on this motor. I gotta transfer over all the little pipe plugs and stuff like that, oil pressure, all those little things. I just gotta take it. There's no rod in it for the fuel pump, so it's just little tedious things. But I think I'm further ahead to do that with it in the car, because then I can get all the way around it and I don't have to worry about it. I got the new ring gear on, it's all bolted together, transmission went on no problem. I still got to bolt the converter to the ring gear, but I'll do that under the car. So yeah, that's where we're at. Next time you see it, hopefully I won't be too stressed out and the motor will be in the car. Well, it was hardly any struggle. The only thing I had to do, I had these other motor mounts that I wanted to use, because they're like, you know, rubber or whatever they are, because I had these solid motor mounts in it. Those are a little shorter, and I didn't really want to spacer them out with washers to give it the same height, because you're going to see the motor a lot more in this thing. So I went back to the solid one, so it'll rattle my teeth. But yeah, that's in. Transmission's in, it's all bolted, cross member's done, drive shaft is in. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but yeah, it's doing pretty good. I ran out of Chevy orange. I wanted to give the water pump one more shot, so I'll do that tomorrow. Might be a little overkill. I still got to clean it all up, start putting the accessories on, the wiring, the starter. The next thing we do actually with these headers, because they're that VHT paint, and you're supposed to get it up to temperature, and you're supposed to like fire it up, let it warm up, shut it off, kind of go back and forth. Well, I got to break the cam in on this thing, so I got to fire it up and run it at you know, a couple thousand RPM for 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up the torch and just kind of run some heat through the pipes and the collector and let it get hot that way, so its first cycle will kind of be done. And then when I put it on the car and fire it up, hopefully it won't just all flake off into nothingness. But whatever, at least they're kind of easy to get to. Once they're on, I can spray a little bit of white on a few spots so they look cool, because let's be honest, white headers, orange motor, tunnel ram, I got it all happening. So I think I'm going to do that real quick. And it's the wind's starting to pick up. It's super dark and cloudy over there, so I'm running out of daylight and storm time. So I'm gonna get that on, valve covers on, stuff like that. I'll probably get Danny or Big Male Man to come over and just slap the hood on the car, just so it won't get water down its throat, and be done for the day. So lots of progress. Good weekend. It's like a race against the clock. So I don't know. It's gonna rain. So the intake's just sitting on it, valve covers are on it, just any moisture can kind of stay out of it. I heated up the headers, they smoked a little bit, so it should be good. You can see kind of some of the blackening. So those will go on tomorrow. But the Thunderbolt headers are cool, but when they're off, it's actually super easy to get the starter, dipstick tube, all the wiring, all the fuel system, that sort of stuff. Around here, it's a pain around the steering, not too bad. I do have to hook up the oil pressure and temperature, so it's nice having all that off for the time being. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a full day tomorrow, all little stuff. Like I said, there's lots of little tiny differences. I gotta make little brackets and different kind of bolts and stuff like that, but that's it for night. I'm gonna try and get Danny out here, hopefully get this hood on, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, it's the next day. It's later in the day. I wanted to get started, but as you can see, the T is inside because I had a guy out today to grind all these stumps, which I don't have a stump anymore. Now I got a pile of whatever this is, mulch, I guess. So that's something to deal with. It's been raining on and off all day, so my plan is try and get the T back out in the mulch, and then maybe I'll drop the 55 down and suck it inside. My old man's gonna come over. We're gonna try and take the hood off. Like I said, it's gonna rain, but I want to get this thing at least kind of running and stuff, and hopefully I do that today. I might need some parts, and I gotta be doing that tomorrow, but never ends. So that's the plan for now. Bunch of car jockeying, story of my life, and then yeah, see what I can do on this sucker. Okay, so I got front end rassled off, and it's raining now, so that's awesome. So underneath I'm almost done. I just gotta finish up the torque converter bolts, give it a once over. I think I'm happy with it. If I do that, I'll tie the exhaust up real quick with some baling wire. I'll hook the cable up to it. I can at least drag just the front end in, so I can button up the motor, because like I said, the intake and all that's just kind of sitting there. I'd rather not have a bunch of water in a brand new motor. Yeah, I think the only thing I gotta do is the vacuum for the transmission yet, tighten up a few bolts, and carry on. So hopefully next time you see this, it'll be inside, nice and easy, and I won't be working in the rain. All right, I've been thrashing. So headers are on, gaskets are in, intake is on, bolted down, valve covers are all proper, put the oil in, filter on, a few miscellaneous pipe plugs all around it. I am missing one pipe plug in the cylinder head, so I got to get one of those. Hopefully I can still run out and grab one. I then got to roll the motor over, find top dead center. I can drop the distributor in, and yeah, I was gonna run some new transmission lines because those are all mangled. I got the fuel pump still go on yet, and that whole mess of stuff. But while I go, like I said, a pipe plug, maybe some Chevy orange, I'll go. But I'm running out of time here, so it's catch-22. I want to try and avoid the rain, but at least now I put the filters on in a bag and it won't get full of oil. So it's getting there. I'm stoked. It looks good. It looks actually crazy having a nice painted motor and stuff like that. I'm sure it'll probably look better on camera than it does in real life, but I'm happy with it. The oil I put in, I use this 1540, and then I always dump one of these in there for the zinc. It's like 10 bucks or something like that. So especially this is I'm breaking the motor in, or the cam and stuff, so everything's got assembly lube on it. I toss one of those in a lot of stuff. Just the new oil's junk, and I've had a couple motors flatten out camshafts, so I figured it's cheap insurance. So yeah, be back at her shortly. A few little things will run around, and well, maybe it'll run, maybe tomorrow. We'll see what happens. It's like a war zone here. So I have got a lot done. The front dress is on, balancer's done, accessories underneath everything is happy. Not gonna lie, I don't know where I stopped. Fill up the transmission, got oil in it, that's all dealt with. Hook the linkage back up. You know, there's a few things I remember I did kind of half-assed, so I just ended up, like, the fuel system was junk on this thing, so I just ran some hose temporary to get started. And the throttle linkage, I forgot I just welded some all-thread rod. It works, but it's not really what I want. So that's where we're at there. The other thing, hey, I'll show you guys this. I just got this off Amazon. No, my old man made it for me. So it's a little toggle box. So you hook, it's got 3 wires to it. One is power, and then there's another one. This one right here will have constant power to it. The other one's a trigger, little on-off switch for safety. And then you can just, you know, whatever you want. Pump the motor or whatever. So, I'm going to static time this thing real quick, so this just makes it handy. Roll it over, find top dead center. I'll probably set it to 8 or 10 degrees on the mark. And then pop my distributor in, run the wires. The plugs are all in except for number 1. Once I get that all in, I think, fingers crossed, radiator can go on, hook the hoses up, and I should be able to spark this thing to life. So we'll see how she goes. Yeah, I'll probably give everything a once over, just double check everything, because you never know what's going to happen. But, and a few vacuum leaks there I got to crimp off because I don't have everything hooked up. But sure looks cool, eh? White headers, orange motor, looks kind of clean. It won't last, but whatever, I'm digging it. My luck ran out. It started raining, so I dragged this thing halfway in. I got the radiator on. I just literally have it vice gripped to the frame because I'm actually not happy with how that and the hood and all that is together, so I'm going to redo that. But I want to hear this thing run and work on it non-stop. So I've got the fuel bowls full of gasoline. Got the hose out. I just filled the radiator up with water. It might need a little more. And yeah, I looped the transmission line because again it's just that kind of crap line. I'll probably redo that, put something a little nicer on there. So it's definitely not 100%. A few vacuum lines are all blocked off. The transmission, kick down, and vacuum are not hooked up. There's blocked at the carburetor, which should be fine. And actually, I'm looking at some of these things are pretty cracked up, so I got to get a few things tomorrow. But it should run, in theory. So I'll top the water off, and we'll crank this thing up. I already cranked the idle up just a little bit. I put a couple of turns on it, just so it'll be at a couple thousand RPM, then I can you know, screw around with it from there. So that's the plan. All right, let's see how she goes. Oil pressure's the big one.
She don't seem to be breathing right. Might be the jets.
Perfect. Well, that's started up right away and had oil pressure. So how am I gonna do this? I need more hands. I'll probably just have to get out there and run it from under the hood. Not bad. The rad's a little far away from the fan. I think I got 180 stat in it. Pretty good. I ran the laser and all the pipes are all getting hot the same way. Should be good. So, I got a few more minutes. I double checked a trans level. It was good. It was down a little, so I put a liter in, but it wasn't too bad. I must have overfilled it. Start. That's a bonus. It's almost done. I'll shut her down. Set the timing, set the idle. Well, that was a long, hard-fought weekend. But that's what I'm doing for today in this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. It was an absolute nightmare. I got to do a little bit of cleaning up yet. Sun setting is probably 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's bedtime for me. Let me know what you think. As always, leave a comment. I love reading them. Subscribe to the channel if you wouldn't mind. That makes a huge difference for me. And really helps the channel grow, obviously. But yeah, so this will need lots more tuning, lots more screwing around. Probably another video just tying up all loose ends. And maybe actually driving this thing. But that's it for now. So hopefully you guys liked it. See you guys in the next one.